Hello there, my name is Pauline and I'm a product manager at Contrast, focused on open source security. Open source software has changed the way that developers write code and build applications. Let's look at an example using the popular Node.js Express framework. Express is in the top 10 downloads on NPM. The code on my screen is a common code sample. These 6 lines of code will create a web server. First of all, that helps to demonstrate why open source has become so popular. I have introduced Express, and with just a few lines of code, I can create a web server and rapidly start to develop my application. Our command line interface was introduced to provide early visibility into the security of open source libraries during the development stage. As I write my application, as I introduce new libraries, I can run the Contrast CLI. By running the CLI, I know exactly the libraries I'm using and what vulnerabilities have been introduced. I can see the libraries and what CVEs are found on those libraries. If my organization has an internal policy where I'm looking at libraries with high severity CVEs or above, I can set a flag to only return the libraries with those high severity CVEs. I can also use the CLI to fail a build based on the severity of the CVEs found. Not only does the CLI provide me with all this output directly to my terminal, it also generates the dependency tree. Let's take a look at that. First of all, I can see that Express has a number of dependencies. Scrolling down, I see those dependencies have their own dependencies, and this just keeps going. I'm just going to expand all of these. But that's not everything. Some of these libraries have actually introduced vulnerabilities into my application, libraries that I may not have realized I was even using in the first place. With the dependency tree, not only do I have visibility into all my libraries and how they were introduced, I can plan how to remediate. It would be extremely complex to start digging into these individual vulnerable libraries, but I know how these libraries got there. And I know from using Contrast that the library that introduced all of these vulnerabilities, Express, is out of date. So let me switch back to my terminal to take action on this data that Contrast has given me. I'm going to update Express. That's complete. Now let's run the CLI again so that I can see the security of my libraries and generate a new dependency tree. That looks much healthier now. I have no vulnerable libraries being reported in the terminal. The CLI and dependency tree give greater visibility into the libraries that are used by an application, ensuring there is no hidden risk. It provides early feedback into the security of my application. As I'm writing code and introducing libraries, I can see if they are vulnerable or if they introduced vulnerable dependencies. Using this insight, I can stop vulnerable libraries being added to my app. And this can all be automated as part of my CI/CD process. Once my application is deployed, I can then start to use the Contrast agent to get even more visibility into my application by getting data on my runtime library usage and custom code vulnerabilities. That's all I had to share today, but we have a lot more features planned with our OSS product, and I look forward to sharing those.